Good morning, fuckers. Happy playoffs for a bunch of you. It is, we're gearing up. Final week of the regular season coming up here. We just finished week 13. Week 12. Pardon my voice. Pardon my head. I'm a little congested. I got a little bit of nasally things going on here. But anyway, let's get down to tactics. We got a lot of playoff scenarios to talk about in a little bit. We'll start off with my matchup with Jay. Quote from Yahoo in the recap is that Jay stole one from me. He scored 2 more points than me. 136 to 134. Less than that, actually, if you count the decimals. Eli Manning got him 31.65 points. The law firm got him 24 points. Megatron, 20. AJ Green, 14. It's a good little matchup. He's scored 130 points for 2 weeks in a row. Give him that. But Jay is also has the second least amounts of points scored. He only betters Dana in points scored for the season so far. He also has the least amount of points scored against him, despite my 134 this past week. So Jay has, like Joe was earlier in the season, has now been Jay this part of the season, getting a little bit of luck on the schedule. So good for him. He's going to need more luck the further he goes in. He's 3-9 versus me throughout the entire season. So, way to play me in one of the 3 weeks you would have actually beat me. He would be 5-5 if you played my schedule. So, like I said, luck of the draw. Andy Dalton would have got me 5 more points than Peyton. I mean, I probably wouldn't have played him, but hey, I could have beat him that way. Torrey Smith, had I actually decided to put him in for Roddy White, which I almost did, 14 points. Sometimes I got to trust my instincts. And 6 starters for me underperformed, and I still scored 134 points. There it is. My overall record versus the entire league every week would be 70-38, a league best. Jay would be 48-60, 12 games under 500. So I wouldn't get too excited, Jay, about how good you think your team is, because it's really not that good. Ryan versus Michael, 137 to 136. There was an actual difference of less than a point when it came down to the win. Thank you, decimal points. You got Ryan a win. Michael is cursing them now twice this year. Tom Brady got Ryan 45 points. Julio Jones got him 20. And Reggie Bush, welcome back, Reggie, because you got 14 points for Mr. Gillerin. Michael sat T.Y. Hilton, his hero from a week ago, sat him this week, got him 14 points for the game. That would have beaten Ryan for Michael, who needed this win if he wanted to make the playoffs. It's a very unlikely. I'm not going to say very unlikely, but chances are smaller than they would have been had you won. His wide receivers, Michael's wide receivers were outscored by Ryan's 42 to 12. The highest losing score of the season goes to Michael this week. Michael's overall record would be 61-47, which is actually third best in the league. And Ryan would be 55-53, 2 games over 500. Brocco and Dana played for the second time this year to avenge Brocco's $50 dinner loss from earlier this year. 134 points for Brocco, 104 for Dana. Again, Dana's team is doing better than it has, but still not quite enough to catch some wins. Drew Brees got Brocco 27 points, while Jordy Nelson, who he traded for this week from Adam, got him 10. Andre Johnson and Doug Martin both got him 17 points plus decimals. Michael Bush, who Dana traded for this week, got him 17.9 points. But Marshawn Lynch, who he traded for earlier, got him 4 points. So, Jay, actually that trade works out for you this week because you would have lost had you had Marshawn Lynch and not A.J. Green. Miles Austin, though, for Dana, gave him a big old 0. A big old goose egg for Miles Austin after he got hurt in the first quarter or second quarter of the Thanksgiving Day game. Which leads me to our next matchup, Jimmy versus Jeff, because Jimmy got 150 points to Jeff's 72. The highest score came of the league this week, and the lowest score, by the way, for Jeff this week. But Des Bryant, because Miles Austin went down, got 25 points for Jimmy this week on Thursday. RG3 got him 45 points, and that's my fault. You're welcome, Jimmy. Patriots defense, who he picked up 27 points. So Jimmy, a bunch of good moves leading up to this game. He's currently on a 4-game winning streak. Jeff, who had the lowest score this week, had Pierre Garçon and Dustin Keller get him double-digit points. That's an improvement for both those guys. But Dwayne Bowe, 2.73 points. Sorry, Jeff. He is spiraling downward. Spiraling. He was in third place at one point this year. Jeff is now Pretty much not going to make the playoffs. But he does play mean. He could play spoiler, but we'll get more into that coming up. Joe versus Adam was our next and final matchup this week. Joe is 2-0 versus Adam this year. He's 64-44 overall for the second best overall record in the league. And Adam is 52-56, 4 games below 500. Connor Barth got the highest kicker points score of the week with 13. Cecil Shorts got Joe 18 points, and Stevie Johnson finally showed up for Joe again with 12 points. His weak point was his wide receivers. This week was a very good strong point over Adam. The wide receivers for Joe outscored Adam 30-15. It might not have helped that Mike Wallace got Adam 0.6. And Adam could have had a better shot had he played Tony Romo instead of Andrew Luck this week, because Tony Romo got him 48.76 points on Thanksgiving. All right, so let's talk about some playoff scenarios. Clinch the playoffs. Raise your hand. It's me, Joe, Jay, and Ryan. We are all in the playoffs. There's nothing that you can do about it. Right now, if the season ended today, Brocco and Jimmy would be 6-6 in the playoffs. My cousin Michael, 5-7, and Jeff, 5-7, still have an outside shot at making the playoffs. Adam and Dana are done. Again, they could still play spoiler. I play Jeff. If Jeff beats me, hypothetically, he'd be 6-7. Now, unfortunately, he needs Brocco and Jimmy to lose, but he also needs to outscore Jimmy, who's the lower of the two scores there, by 200 points. So I'm going to say, Jeff, even though you're not technically out of it, you're pretty much out of it. Michael, who's also 5-7, has 1,417 points. That's 3 points less than Brocco. So he could very well jump from 7th into 5th or even 4th, depending on what Ryan does, based on points scored. If Ryan loses, and Ryan is playing Dana, which actually projected to lose, by the way. Dana's projected to beat Ryan. So if Ryan loses, he'll be 7-6. Jimmy and Brocco would have to win. Ryan could actually fall down to 6th position. And Ryan can't miss the playoffs, though. But if my cousin Michael beats Adam, he'll be 6-7. And as long as he'll probably outscore Jimmy. And he might outscore Brocco. If any of those guys lose and Michael wins, Michael will be in the playoffs. Jay and Jimmy play. So if Jay now wants to have a bye, he needs either me or Joe to lose. It's more likely that Joe could lose because he's playing Brocco, and less likely for me to lose because I played Jeff. Just talking about the matchups, Brocco is a little bit of a tougher matchup than Jeff is. With that said, Jay has the second to lowest scored points. So if he were to lose and go 8-5, and Ryan were to win, Jay could fall to 4th. But that's the furthest that Jay could fall. He could be as easy as 1st. He could be as low as 4th. Remember, the matchups will be 3rd versus 6th in the first round, 4th versus 5th. 1 and 2 have the bye. If Brocco wins and goes 7-6, and Dana and Ryan loses, Brocco would jump to 4th place. Brocco more than likely will make the playoffs, but he could technically still miss the playoffs. If Jimmy wins and my cousin wins, Michael Mattiello would have to outscore Brocco by 4 points. And then Brocco would effectively miss out on the playoffs. So Joe and Brocco have quite the matchup this week where they're going to affect each other highly. Because if Jay happens to beat Jimmy and Joe loses to Brocco, Jay would end up being the 2nd-seeded team. How freaking unbelievable is that? There you have it. There's your playoff matchups. Adam and Dana, go play spoiler. Jeff, too, go play spoiler if you can. But it's gonna be a fun playoffs. I'd much rather have the bye. Joe and I will probably. All right, let's talk about what we're probably going to happen. We're talking about the projected scores of the games, okay? I beat Jeff. Number 1, can't beat me. I can only drop the 3rd if both Jay and Joe win. So, number 1 seed probably coming my way. Number 2 seed probably going Joe's way. unless he loses to Bracco. Although he is supposed to lose to Bracco, but even if he does lose to Bracco, Jay was probably going to lose to Jimmy. They'd both be 8-5. Joe would have the bye based on points scored. With that said, Ryan, who is supposed to lose to Dana, would go 7-6. Would end up in 5th position because if Bracco does beat Joe, Bracco would leapfrog Ryan into 4th. And that would leave Jimmy, who's playing Jay. If Jimmy does win like he's projected to win, he'd be 7-6. And that would be your playoffs. Again, Michael is the only team who legitimately has a good shot at making the playoffs. He has to win, and he has to score more points than... And Bracco or Jimmy have to lose, but then if Bracco's the loser, he has to score more points than him by 3 or 4. I think that's going to be... 4 is the safe bet. So, there you have it. There's your playoff scenarios. Good luck out there, guys, and pardon my nasal listeness. I'll talk to you guys all soon. Have fun.